Greetings, gods and goddesses. Now, we are in a very hectic situation right now. I can definitely tell that the energies are heavily shifting for sure. And this means that, a lot of individuals might be experiencing a lot of things. I've got a good key point when it comes to focusing your intent that you might like to know. Now, some of us might be experiencing what I would call a focus blockage, essentially. Maybe for the past quote, I mean not for the quote unquote past, but I just been feeling a bit less feeling to meditate because when I go to do it, I feel like doing something else. So I don't feel like doing something else now, but I don't, you know what I mean. So, when I go ahead and do this meditation, I tried it and, honestly, I've come to a realization. Some individuals might still be stuck in the time spell, but in a way that is just a bit different. So, individuals might be thinking about intent and actions like breathing in a form of a flow, as in time related, instead of thinking them by what they truly are, which is instances on their own. For example, if I think about breathing, do you think about the whole process of breathing, the exhalation, the stopping, and then the inhalation as well? Well, that's wrong. What you should be doing is not focusing on what's happening next, but what you're doing right now. As an all-in-all guide to breathing, to stop hyperadrenalization, as well as to make sure that your body is actually given enough recovery to actually move properly, the ideal method of breathing is by having the tip of your tongue at the end of the spot. By saying N, you might find your tongue reaching a little bit of an interesting ridge. Keep the tip there. Make sure your mouth muscles are not in active form, okay? Now, this is active form, right? So that's active form for the bottom muscle. So that bottom muscle's job is to push the lips up. So make sure it's not active. Make sure it's not pushing the lips up, but it's just neutral, alright? And that might take a little bit of getting used to. Make sure the corners of your mouth aren't retracted, okay? Make sure your mouth isn't puckered up. Make sure your lips aren't retracted from the top. Make sure they aren't unnaturally sunken in like that. And if you do that correctly, you'll naturally develop a pattern where your lips go into the correct place. And it will feel better for you as well. And you'll notice that your lips will actually start looking more symmetrical, maybe larger, or like they'll look even more just better. Like they just look better. Like your lips will just look better, right? Because of this. And this is because this has to do with tongue posture, and actually has to do a lot with the shape of your face as well. So, it's going to improve your appearance, but it's going to be really good for your mind as well, for sure, definitely. And then, make sure that your teeth are either open or closed. Make sure they're not either protruded back too much or protruded forward too much. Make sure they're not like that. And then just keep in mind that you want to keep it so where it's like sticked to the part of the roof of the mouth on all ends, and make sure that you're using swallowing as a mechanism to make sure that's happening. If you make sure that all of these variables are active at once, like properly active at once, like your lips are relaxed, your teeth are in the correct position, you should not be using your jaw muscles to close close your jaw. You should be using your tongue, actually, mostly. And also making sure that your pelvic floor is relaxed. If you've done a lot of masturbation, you should make sure that you're relaxing your pelvic floor, figuring out how to relax it, because stuff like edging and masturbation can actually harm the pelvic floor because you're unneedingly and without any actual activity, because sex is a real active thing. Like, you have to be active, you know what I mean? But masturbation is just whack the chicken, bro. Like, move your hand up and down, you know what I mean? If you've done a lot of that, you might have a tight pelvic floor, and for that you should be learning how to stretch it, how to relax it. You should be learning how to relax your diaphragm from all 360 degrees. So your front, your back, your left, right? You should be learning how to relax your diaphragm and breathe through the diaphragm. And if you can do that while not thinking about how you breathe, but instead of breathing at a slow rate, naturally, never thinking about the next step in your breath or the previous step in the breath, but your whole breath happening as you are naturally producing it. In less of a state of thinking forward, but in a more of a reactionary state, if that type of describing helps. So that's just breathing as an example. But what about intent, though? I mean, what do you intend to actually do? Like, how do you actually intend to do things? Do you intend it as a way of, I'm thinking this, it's getting more and more stronger? Or are you actually making it more and more stronger by itself? Are you thinking, I'm thinking this is going to happen within 20 minutes, 30 minutes? You don't even have to think about minutes, but do you feel like you're doing that? Or do you feel like you're making it like, oh, it's happening now? Any type of form of that is thinking the wrong way almost completely, except for maybe the first one in certain situations, possibly. You should be thinking your intent as it is, not thinking about how long it's going to take or it happening now. Think of it like this. When you work out, let's say you do push-ups, right? This is an instant right now, right? I'm here right now, right? That's another instant. This is halfway through. This is the full way through, right? Now this is on a door. It's not real push-up, but as you can see, right? As you can see, the way you more go forward and the way you go more back. Now what does that have to do with you moving, your intent? Well, think about it like this. If you think about